Alright guys, big welcome to you to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta. You're here with D-Boy and another episode from Crazy Game Changing that talks about the premium collection. If you haven't seen the first two episodes yet, on the first one we talked about the premium collection in general, the strides that we are expecting, the nation cards, and how we think the box will be like. If you are interested in that, just the general ideas behind the premium collection, you could check that video out. And also we talked about the Bermuda Triangle card and more about the strides that we expected to be different, and that's on the second episode. This third episode will talk about the new reveals, which we have 4 cards. The first one that we have is the Royal Paladin one, which is Twin Absolute Divine Knight, Saint of Twin Sword. So this is the reincarnation of the Grade 2 Knight of Twin Sword. If you haven't seen some of the YouTuber videos out there, there are some crazy combos that you could do with this card. I don't want to say broken, I say crazy. Why? Because all of these combos will need counterblast, and you will come to the same conclusion after me talking about this card. So whenever you see a new card, take a breath, read the card, think about the combos, and then react. The thing is, a lot of people watch some videos and they react the same way as the YouTuber wants you to react, which is the YouTuber wants to interact with you guys so you could hit that like button. It's okay, it's the way doing thing, but in my opinion, you have to be smart and you make your own decisions if you want to make a card being strong or not. This card, in my opinion, is a very good card. It's very strong and it has 2 really insanely good abilities, but it is not broken. I will show you how. First, let's read his ability together. When it attacks a Vanguard while it's boosted, the same as the Grade 2, you counterblast 1, the same as the Grade 2, and then you turn a card from your G-Zone face up. So it's a cost that all of these strides has, which is just turning something face up in your G-Zone. Some of them are on attack, some of them are on place, some of them are on acts, depending on the card, which we'll go into that later. This one is on attack. That means that you could already have a field, you attack with it, and then you use this ability, which will search your deck for up to 2 Grade 2 cards, call them to rearguard, and then shuffle your deck. So then you have the second ability, which is an auto ability. Whenever something is placed on your rearguard from your deck, that unit gets an extra 5k for every face-up card in your G-Zone. Remember that we already have the force markers on those rearguard circles. And then you have more power of this card. If it's the first stride, 5k. If it's the second stride, 15k. If it's the second stride you already G-guarded, that's an extra 20 or 25k, which is a lot, yes, agreed. Then, how could this card work in Blasters and how could this card work in Braves? First, in Blasters. Blasters as the deck that we have right now. So let's not talk about Lu, and also let's not talk about Knight of Twin Sword. Just the deck as it is right now. You attack with this, or you have this stride, you have a field, you attack with that field, and then you attack with this card, and then you activate the ability to get you a Blast Blade and this Grade 2. This Grade 2 is amazing because it could fetch you the 2 Flogos, which we already know about the combo, nothing new. What could that mean? That could mean that your Blast Blade gaining the power that he gets from the stride, also you already have like the Lus behind him, the Flogos behind him that could restand him. That's an amazing turn right there. What's the problem with that turn? If you want to use both Flogos, that's a counterblast 2. If you want to use the ability of the strides, that's a counterblast, so that's the third one. Let's say that you have the countercharger on the field behind the Blast Blade, then it's still a counterblast 2 turn, which is good. It's not counterblast heavy. Then you could also work your way with having Lu and Knight of Twin Sword into the deck, so you could call him and one of these. Let's say the Lu, because he gave give your Blast Blade more power, which costs you 1 counterblast more, but your Blast Blade will come out with extra power, and at the same time you gain 1 more extra attack with the Liu, which is good, especially with the amount of power that the cards could give you. So yes, agreed. I think this card is insanely good. If you're playing not against Kagero, which could defeat Flare Your Heart Bekro, but again, you could work around that by having Liu on the field. But again, Liu could only call you the Blast Blade. Then people would say, okay, then I could still call Knight of Twin Swords, and Knight of Twin Sword could get me the other grade 2 that could fetch me the Flogels. Yes, you could do that, but if your opponent takes out your back row, then you can't boost the Knight of Twin Sword. But that's Kagero. When we talk about Gridora, the same thing. Could take out 1 colonies, but that's Gridora. That's Maya Colony. How about the other clans? Well, yes, the combo is very good. The combo, it's not broken, but you have like in 5, let's say 5 or 6 very high strong attacks, and you have to guard them, and otherwise you're doomed, as in the second stride. But we saw another second stride that did devastating work, so this is nothing new. These strides, as we saw from the one from Bermuda, are not strides that are a setup. Like Overwhelm is a card for the mid game, it's not a finisher, while these cards are finishers. They're made to destroy your opponent. So yes, they work good in Blasters, they work good in Braves. I agree with that, and that's why I'm not saying that the card is not good. In Braves or Alkmaar, this card does not have the Brave ability, which does take out some of your grade 2 skills. You're losing Leverot, which is your best grade 2 in the game in the deck. And that's, you have to go back to the Solomon Albion loop, which also costs you Counterblast, but that could be insanely good. So I think that the Saint of Twin Swords is good in both decks, maybe even better in Blasters than in Braves, because you're taking Leverot out of the deck, which I don't agree with that. I think that most people would just stack an Albion or 2 in the deck to have it work with this stride, but mostly your Leverot could still work with your other strides, which is good. Alright, enough about this card, let's jump into the second one. I'm not giving these cards a number or a grade or something, because I think all of them are good, they work in different situations. Maybe some is better than another, but yeah, I don't know. Then we have the strongest commander chief, Final Daimax DX. For the art of this card, I don't know, I think he looks amazing, but I think he looks way too golden. But maybe that's the theme they went with. Also the DX is nice, it's interesting, still makes a smiley though. And then this card has the ability, when it attacks, you pay the cost, which is turn a card from your G-Zone face up, and all of your rested Regards go into your soul. Then you reveal the top 7 cards of your deck you call to Regard Circle up to the number of face-up cards you have in your G-Zone, from the highest power in order. So it's not really up to you what you call. Then you shuffle your deck, and then if 4 units were put into the soul for the cost, then until the end of turn, all of your units gain an extra 10k and a crit. Alright, so how good is this card? Well, first of all, it doesn't cost a Counterblast. That's amazingly good. Second, let's say that you use this card on your first stride, and you first use commander skill, you rest 4 units, you attack with this card, you put those 4 units into your soul, then he gains 10 power and a crit, but he already has his power doubled by commander skill and a crit, and you already have your stride skill, or you just have another Regard that could power up your Vanguard, or you have a force marker. So yeah, this card will be huge on the first attack with 2 extra crits. It doesn't have an extra drive check, yes, okay, sure, but it could still call you 1 extra Regard on that turn. On the second turn, it could call you more and you could still do the combo. The only thing is you will be losing your commander if you do not call, let's say, 5 cards from your hands. So it depends on the situation, but I think that this card could be good in different situations. It's something that in Dimension Police we haven't seen before, like this kind of an ability that calls on attack. It's definitely interesting. It will make people look back into their pile of cards and see what on-place abilities they still have, which is a good thing. So you still have some of the V series, like the on-place you have to guard with 2 cards, but you should guard it with this card with 2 cards anyway. The other thing is this card doesn't have the keyword, which means that for some of your stand triggers, or one of your stand triggers, would give you the power or the skill to the Vanguard that your Vanguard has the ability to, when they reveal a grade 3, they get rid of the rear guard, even if it's Barrier Break. I think that you guys know what Barrier Break is. But the Barrier Break doesn't really work with this card because it doesn't have the keywords. So that's the thing. But I think overall this strat is very good. Maybe some people argue that the one from Royals is better. I think that this card, in my opinion, is better. Why? Because it's not situational. You could really use it multiple times. It doesn't cost a counterblast, and it's very strong. The only thing that you need is cards to fill up your field, which should not be that hard because your opponent would be guarding like crazy against these kind of attacks. And again, it doesn't cost counterblast. Alright, so another thing that we have today is the one from Neonectars, Green Katrina. Green Katrina is a very, very interesting stride which will combine maybe the Asha deck with the tokens, or we will not see Asha anymore. We will just see like more premium Neonectar decks, because we haven't really seen a lot of premium Neonectars, and this is one of the cards that will make that possible. Which she has the ability, when she's placed, she activates her skill by turning a card from your G-Zone face up. That's a very good thing because you already have your GB2 active. And then you call up to the same amount of plant tokens into your regular circles as card you have face up in your G-Zone. So if it's the first strike, she only calls 1, but let's say your grade 3 already called 2 on the field, so you have 3 or 4 depending on what you had and what deck you play, and then all of your plant tokens gain an extra 10k power. Then when she attacks, you could call from your deck units up to the same amount of plant tokens you have on the field. Whew, that's a good skill. It's definitely a skill that a Spike Brother should have, because she doesn't really copy something on the field. She just calls. She could call anything with that. She could call units that could attack from the back row. She could call units that could bloom. She could call units that make your opponent miserable. And she doesn't cost anything. She doesn't cost a counterblast. She doesn't cost anything. She doesn't cost cards from your hand. It's just you place her, she gives you plant tokens, you attack with the plant tokens, or leave some of them to boost, or just attack with all of them. But let's say you have 4, you attack with all 4, then this unit attack, and then you gain a whole new field that could attack even more. Why not? Sounds like something that Neonectar needs. I think this card is definitely one of the cards that will hopefully make Neonectar make a comeback into the premium. This is what this set is all about, making those decks great again. That's, whew, I sound like you know who, but making this deck great again, that they could go back into the format and do something, especially in the Team League. I hope that we got this set before the Team League, because in the Team League you see the most diverse, let's say, format, because people would like to play more for fun than just playing meta decks. So that's why I was hoping that we will get this set before, but we will not. Maybe in Japan they will enjoy this set in the Team League, but we will not. Alright, last card for this video, we have Morfessa. Morfessa is the Shadow Paladin one, and it has the act ability, which is once per turn, you counterblast and you turn a card from your G zone face up. Then you retire 2 regards, you draw 2 cards, and until the end of turn, all trigger units in the drop zone are considered great ones. So this works great with Luard. At the same time, Luard is already mixed with the cards from the new sets. Like when you use the main to call something else, and then you could use this card skill to draw 2 cards from those regards that you don't really have to use anymore, and you're already getting your ritual active because like your grade 0s, your grade 1s all count as grade 1s. And then ritual 10, all units in the front row gain extra 15k and a crit, and your opponent have to guard them with 2 cards if they guard from their hand. So it not only it gives you more cards to your hand, it also makes your field very strong, and it makes it harder for your opponent to guard. Yeah, I think that this card is maybe more like an overwhelm than a finisher, because it doesn't really matter how many cards you have face up in your G zone. The amount of power that you give to your regards is just 15k and a crit. But in Shadow Paladin you can only make those 3 attacks. Like combining this card to the Royal Paladin one, I think that the Royal Paladin one is better, a lot better. The only difference is that this card gives you advantage and the other one does not. He requires you to lose cards from your hand to make the combo possible. So you're not losing anything when you're going to this card. So again, it depends on the situation that you're using it. The one card could be better than the other, but drawing you 2 cards and making your field strong without really having to commit to the field is something that is definitely good. So that's actually it for this video. I've talked about these traits, and I tried to keep my opinion to a minimum for you guys to decide what you think of your cards yourself. I showed you some of the combos, but not all of them, because I think that's up to the player and not to me to say what combo you could use or what combo is devastating and what not. I would like to thank you all for watching this video. Also, thanks for all the support, the love that you give for our channel. Thanks guys for watching. Until next time.